It's me, Tug Morkel, here again. Going to read some more excerpts from the book Tug's Trek, a memoir of moral injury. Uh, Chapter 8, Rhodesian SAS, of parts of which I was involved. We're just out of Mozambique, trying to capture Mapai, and now we turned our attention a few weeks later to Zambia. Comop's ordered C Squadron to get in close to what looked like an ominous ZIPRA build-up. Nkomo's conventionally trained army had holed up in a well-fortified gook camp near D.R.E.A.M. I was again assigned to operational backup and not involved in the punch-up, but we got word that a lance jack had been fatally wounded. It turned out to be John McLaurin, and he would be the last soldier to die in the Rhodesian SAS. His body was brought back, and I was assigned to zip up the body bag. It was beyond awful. Captain Bob McKenna had taken to the air in a Cessna Lynx to contact the guys on the ground, who were clearly engaged in a hot op. More of our boys were wounded, and Mackenzie's Lynx subjected to heavy anti-aircraft fire. The ACAC hit the aircraft and disabled the undercarriage, making it necessary for the pilot to limp home and bring the aircraft down on its belly on the grass strip parallel to the main runway at Kariba Airport. As the plane came to rest, we smothered it with fire retardant foam, while our OC and the pilot clambered out and made it to safety unharmed. Orders came for a tactical withdrawal, and the Air Force pulled the squadron out, battle-weary and completely depleted of energy. October is seriously hot in weather-wise in Kariba, in the Zambezi Valley. Fitness was maintained by running twice a day, plus morning sessions of pokey drill. Our American OC had ordered the squadron sergeant major to instill into us this daily discipline to maintain our upper body strength. The strength in numbers grew as more of our special force soldiers arrived. Op Tepid was anything but lukewarm and would become another brutal engagement with the formidable enemy. The Air Force would fly us in and provide the boots on the ground, much needed support. And although the South African Air Force would play no visible role this time, the D Squadron RECCEs appeared from nowhere. It was always reassuring having those guys around. Our Bell helicopters flew troops from the SAS, RLI, Selous Scouts, and the RECCEs into Zambia. We did not have time on our side and had to move fast. It would not be in our interest to concede enemy territory to the insurgents. The Rhodesian Rapid Deployment Fire Force strategy, which had been perfected by the Rhodesian Light Infantry, worked very well internally, and we had to keep the enemy from coming in. I was assigned medic, signaller, and RPD gunner in a four-man stick led by Lance Jack O. Our orders were to lay landmines on the main road just south of Siavonga, close to the border. I had signed for the morphine vials and boarded the Bell. The Huey broke down. Some aircraft we acquired through the sanctions busting were not fit for purpose. We had to disembark, and I returned the vials to the Medical Corps Authority. The technicians managed to fix the chopper, and we were quickly ordered back to deploy. I reminded the officer that I'd have to get the morphine. He told me to leave it. They assigned a new medic to our stick. We flew low level into Zambia, clipping the trees as the pilot landed in a convenient open space, and we ran for cover into thick vegetation. We did not walk far as we made camp for the night, and you could hear the sound of crickets chirping as males sought to navigate for a mate. Then unexpectedly heavy laden clouds we had seen building up during the day provided us with a pyrotechnic display of lightning strikes accompanied by ear-splitting crashes of thunder before opening their bellies in a monsoon-like downpour, drenching us to the core. One good thing about the intensity of the downpour was any tracks we may have left behind us were obliterated. The not so good thing was the stream started running, and every pathway and crevice within a 10-kilometre radius became a river of gushing muddy water. By the following morning, the storm had passed, and the day dawned under beautifully clear blue skies and crisp fresh air, but the water had hardly subsided. We walked waist deep through a narrow, fast flowing creek, our weapons held high above chest height. While crossing, my plastic covered book of radio codes worked its way out of my map pocket and joined the flow of water down the creek. Fortunately, I noticed and dove after it, holding my RPD in one hand above the water level and almost drowning in my scramble to recover them. I cannot imagine how much trouble I would have been if they had gone down the river. This time I secured the pocket properly as we made our way towards the road and set about the task at hand. Our task had to be completed during daylight hours, as there was no time to wait for suitable moonlight. It had to be done quickly and quietly in view of the fact intelligence had confirmed a battalion of Zambian soldiers were based near our target area. I was tasked with finding cover about 50 meters from the target to provide advance warning to the team laying the mine. I carried a small means A76. Lance, Jack O, and one other would lay the Bakelite mine. These Catons, as they were known, had anti-disturbance mechanisms which exploded when the earth was removed from the top of the mine. It worked with an inbuilt photoelectric cell, but was anti-lift in design. Lying in wait while the device was placed in position, I became agitated by a lone civilian who came strutting up the road as if taking out exercise. I had no idea where he had come from or where he was going, and such trivialities never even occurred to me. He was walking straight towards me, and I was absorbed by options of what to do. Suddenly he became aware of me and froze. He stood there wide-eyed as we looked at each other, and then, as if he suddenly remembered something he needed, he turned around and walked away. It would have been folly shooting him. Not only was he unarmed and no doubt an innocent civilian, but the whole battalion of Zambian troops would be mobilized and we would be in a lot of trouble. I let him walk away, but he posed an imminent threat to our operation. I quietly called in and informed the Lance Jack of the compromise. He told me to stay put and decided to dig deeper and lay both mines in the same hole. Duly completed without incident, he called us in and we hurriedly left the area. On the long walk away from the road, my old injury from the glass wound started causing me distress, and we called for an uplift. There were 2 bells in the area, both laden with Selous Scouts. The pilots would have to burn some fuel to make way for the extra load. They flew around for a while, some distance away, as we kept moving fast on the ground, and then directed us to secure LZ's landing zones. The pilots hovered, and we leapt in to join the scouts. The Lance Jack and I got into one and the other two in another. We flew back to Rhodesia over the eastern basin of Lake Kariba and perhaps too close to Siavonga as the Zambians opened fire with anti-aircraft weapons. Over the lake, the pilots knew we might run out of fuel, so warned us of an impending emergency landing. An experienced sergeant from the Selous Scouts, who I knew from our social circles in Shamba, warned me not to exit the chopper immediately on impact with the water, as the rotor blades would still be in motion. They put the birds down safely on the sandy beaches of Caribbean Bay Resort on the shores of the lake. The engines shut down, and as we waited for refuel, took a dip in the water. The intensity was not letting up, and my nerves were not getting any stronger. My military service was due to expire at the end of the year, and I longed for the respite. Yeah, I'm getting tired now. My nerves are shattered beyond. And we're not finished. Stay tuned. We're not finished. That's 1979. October. And give us a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and see you in the next round. Cheers for now.